Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's that time again. It's the time again. Welcome to 4th and 9 to victory. We're here today. We're going to preview USC Trojans. Next game coming up Sunday versus the Michigan State Spartans. So we got the Trojans versus the Spartans. We're going to give some of our pregame analysis and things that we've seen from watching film on Michigan State, kind of break that down, talk about the best way that USC can attack Michigan State, both offensively and defensively, and give our insight. Don't forget, Saturday we go live during game time. 9:30 Central, we'll be logging on, and we'll be here the entire game, play-by-play, breaking down what's happening, taking live calls. So please, 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 like, share, join us, comment, make sure you call in, share your thoughts on what's going on with the game, ask any questions, and just enjoy, watching the game with us as we give a play-by-play as well as some updates. As always, I'm your boy Fight On Kristen.
And I'm his running mate, B. Jenkins.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, B, USC 3-0, coming back home to the Coliseum. Like we said, we have a late kickoff, right? 11:30 Eastern. It'll be 10 Central Time, 8 o'clock Pacific Time. So, a team that's on the East Coast, they're coming in. Their body's going to be on the 11 o'clock p.m.,
Right. Time
change. So definitely a big game.
Right.
A lot of things in here, familiarity, right? Their coach used to be at Oregon State.
Right.
You
Jonathan
remember
Smith,
first year
Jonathan Smith. Yeah.
Jonathan Smith. If you remember when he was at Oregon State, he got the best out of those teams with, even when he didn't have the same amount of talent. When we went in with Caleb, it was tough. We only scored 2 touchdowns that game.
You know what, Chris? I think it's just something about playing in the state of Oregon.
Corvallis.
And especially Corvallis, because remember, whenever they would come to the college, by I would say by middle of the third quarter, we would have them handled. But it's just something about going to Corvallis, man. We just have a rough time going up there.
Yeah. And he's a good coach. He's in his is it his second or his third year? I believe it's his second year. It's his second year, right?
Right.
And it's crazy. There's a lot of rumblings around there. Of course, everybody in the popcorn society right now. So a lot of the Michigan State hopeful fans and alumni kind of not happy with his performance thus far. What they remind me of is kind of a team that we played last year in the sense that their whole roster flipped last year. Right. While Purdue was last week a team that happened this year. They're in year 2 of their rebuild. So definitely a game that I know we both feel that USC should come out on top playing, especially at home, and with some other things that we're going to talk about. So we definitely going to get into this pregame assessment, what we've seen in film. And so we're going to go on to our first segment. First segment is, Mama, there goes that man, right? So the question is who is that guy that's on Michigan State? And then we'll go to who's that guy on USC. Who is that guy that for Michigan State we have to stop, we have to contain? It might be an offensive player, it might be a defensive player, but we have to account for, we have to game plan for, we have to make sure that this guy don't beat us. And then on the flip side of that, who on the Trojans we need to be that guy? Mama, there goes that man again. That the name that just keep coming up play after play that has to be successful for USC to be able to come out successful in this game.
Well, I'll go first with that one, Chris. On the Michigan State side, you think, Mama, there goes that man. You talk about the receiver that they have, Mr. Morris. So far on the season, he has 16 receptions for 194 yards, 3 touchdowns. So he's going to be that primary factor on that team. Now, from what I understand, he might be somewhat kind of questionable for this game. They're not certain. Of course, Coach Smith is holding everything close to the vest. So for us, it will have to be that receiver, Mr. Morris. Now, our secondary is kind of banged up right now. We know we're missing some players, and we just got some bad news the other day that the transfer
Jason Johnson,
he's out for the season, and we already had some players that were backed up. So we got a lot of newcomers that's out there getting plenty of playing time. Marcellus Williams, and other DBs that's out there, for the first time. So if he's playing, secondary is definitely going to be tested. So For me, it's Mr. Marsh on for Michigan State. Now, as far as the Trojans are concerned, you talk about Mama, there goes that man. I think none other than Mr. Makai Lemon, if he's healthy. Now, I know I said that my favorite player is, the best wide receiver in college football is Jacoby Lane, but can Michigan State's secondary keep up with Makai Lemon? That's going to be an issue for the secondary, but we'll dive more into it once we go later on into the segment.
Yeah. For me, it would have been Nick Marsh, but with his injury and not for sure is he going to play. I know after the game, their coach said they wasn't sure. They'll know more. Then at his Big Ten press conference, he said the same thing. So we should be finding out by Friday about that regarding him. Definitely would have been my player, but I'm more leaning to, especially with a lower body injury, even though they're not saying exactly what it is. I'm not thinking he's going to play. So I'm going to go with their QB, Aiden Childs. And the reason why that's that guy for them that we have to contain because he's an eraser. And what I mean by eraser is that when things break down and the blocking is atrocious, as we've seen, he has the ability to go get 10 yards by himself with his legs from the quarterback position. So definitely have to contain him, right? Have to make him beat you from the pocket, have to have lane integrity and rushing. And when you get to him, you have to bring him down. He has a lot of broken tackles this year with his offensive line breaking down and defenders getting back there, but they can't bring him down. You got to break down, can't go in with your head down or you're going to miss him. He's not quick, but he's fast in the fact that he takes up distance with that stride, right? Okay. And it's easy to mismanage how fast he's going in the trajectory. So got to play discipline. For that reason, my USC player, Mama Though goes that man that we got to hear his name, and I'm sure we will as we hear it every game anyway. It's going to be Eric Gentry. And as we start getting into film study and all that, I'll explain more why Eric Gentry has to be that man this game. But just for a nutshell right now, it's because Aiden Childs is that guy for them. And we're going to need a spy on them. And we're going to need someone with athleticism who can run him down and make that tackle and keep an eye out on him. All right. So we'll go to our next segment. Our first down segment. It's 1st and 10. You all ready?
Ready. Let's get to it.
All right. So from your film study, right, and scouting Michigan State, watching their previous games, studying their film, on their offense, what do you see from their offense, and how should USC attack them from a defensive mindset and play them?
Well, of course, their offense, you think their running back, Mr. Frazier, again, another player that's going to be questionable. They're going to be run heavy. Mr. Frazier has 43 carries on the season for 206 yards and 2 touchdowns. But what surprisingly is this: the quarterback. You spoke about him earlier, Aiden Childs. Currently, it's the second rusher on the team with 30 carries. Now, I don't know whether or not these are design plays or because the play is breaking down and he just takes it upon himself, to scramble outside of the pocket and make a negative into a positive. So we got to watch out for that running attack. Of course, Coach Smith is going to want to keep the fight in the phone booth with our speed. We wanted to go to the track. We want to make it a track meet with them. We want to get it in an open space. So on the offensive side, I want to say we need to make sure that we keep Childs and Frazier contained. That's if Frazier is playing.
Right. And I don't think Frazier's going to make it. He left the game in a walking boot.
Right.
And as a running back, that's kind of
iffy. Yeah, I know it's kind of iffy.
Yeah, it's kind of going to be tough, man. But you never know, man. These days they work miracles. But for me, and what I seen watching film, like you said, they want to run the ball because everything they do in the pass game is set up for play action, right? So if they can't run the ball, that kind of takes away that threat for the play action to get those linebackers up. expect for the first time all year to see Big Ten football, right? We've played a whole lot of these teams who ran the RPO and spread. This is going to be the first team where we really see what we look like against the typical Big Ten offense that you're going to see. Well, Nebraska's kind of switching it up with Dana Holderson, but with your Illinois, your Michigans, and things like that, right? So expect to see a lot of 12 personnel, 2 tight ends, right? Off of that, they want to run the ball. They want to do play actions. They rarely go 4 wide receivers. If they do bring another wide receiver in, they'll take 1 tight end out and go 3. But if you see them go 4 wide receivers, be on the lookout for the quarterback draw. So when they go 4 wide, they want to run the quarterback. They're trying to stretch you out, spread the field to open up their lane in the middle for them. The last 3 weeks, anytime they've gone 4 wide, that's really what they've been looking to do, and he's been killing them on quarterback design, quarterback draws. They also do a whole lot of designated plays to get you flowing one way and come back the other. Right? In each game they've ran a couple of different versions of a reverse, right? And also they want to get you flowing one way with the run and then bootleg Aiden Childs out, to the opposite side. So they're going to see a lot of play designs that want to get you going one way and come back the other. Their quarterback Childs is mobile, right? His accuracy is not the best, but he does have a good strong arm. And look for him; he likes to throw outside, right? So he likes to throw out route, corner routes, the post corners. If he do have one-on-one coverage, it's not going to be more of a ball that has air under it, but it's going to be more on a straight line. He has a strong arm. Nick Marsh is probably not going to play, but he is their best wide receiver. But they still have 2 other receivers that's pretty good and pretty fast. They both about the same size, about the 5'10", 160 to 170, which is Omarion Kelly and Alante Brown. Both of them can run, and both of them are dangerous in punt returns and kickoff returns. So definitely have to lock that down.
Now, I heard one of those punt returners might be out for the season. That's from what.
Who's out for the season is their offensive lineman.
Okay. Now let me ask you a question, Chris.
Wait. Let me get this offense first, so we can. Mekhi Frazier again questioning at their running back. Their offensive line, right? They're starting right. Tackle Luka Vinchik is out for the year, and this offensive line was not already strong as it is. They gave up 4 sacks to Central Michigan in one game, and so the way I think USC should attack them per the film study is, I would expect that we might see a lot of 3 linebacker sets. We haven't seen that all year. For the majority, we've been in the 4-2-5 because of the teams we're playing. But with them having that 12-man personnel, they like to run a lot, and they want to establish the run, I wouldn't be surprised if Lynn go to a 4-3 on this game, which I would, outside of the obvious, passing situations. But I would start the game in a 4-3 to combat that 12-man personnel. We have to have a spy on the quarterback, right? Which is why I brought up Eric Gentry, and I think he's going to be that guy that spy shot, because he has the speed that he can run them down, stay with them. But you're going to have to put a spy on them. We're going to have to attack their new offensive linemen with stunts. The first 3 weeks we've been running stunts and they've been successful, but we've been using Lucas coming off the edge and then having that 3 technique take his spot. Not a good idea for this game with that quarterback, because we have to keep him contained in the pocket and not let him get outside. So the stunts that we need to do, it'll be more if we're blitzing a linebacker, have them stunting with that 3 technique, or having both our big guys do the stunt to get the pressure up the middle, because I don't know if I trust my 3 technique to be able to get around there quick enough to hold up on the edge if we stunt. Again, we got to have rush lane integrity, and the number 1 rule is turn everything inside. Do not let that quarterback get outside of you. Make sure those ends are taking their 2 steps up. Stay, wide is the widest hurt. Make everything turn back inside. So from my film study, that's how I think we'll attack them. I know Lynn watch a whole lot more film than me, so interesting to see what type of game plan we come out with. to attack their offense. But, at the end of the day, I think that our defensive linemen should have a lot of success against this offensive line, especially from what I've seen on film, especially with them having one of the better offensive lines out for the year. What was the question you had?
Yeah, I was going to ask you something. You mentioned the 12 personnel coming out with the limited expectation of Frazier and Marsh. Do you expect Michigan State to run a little more 12 personnel than anything, as opposed to you mentioning the four wides, so that the quarterback will be able to sneak it? Me personally, I would think that Jonathan Smith would want to keep his quarterback as healthy as possible, considering that he's probably not going to have the projected running game he's going to, that he typically has with Frazier, or his safety valve out there on the edge, and Nick Marsh.
Well, I think they're gonna run their offense and do what they like to do, and a lot of that is 12 man, and they still want to run the ball. Number 7, they still have some backup running backs, not of course not as good as a starter, not a lot of experience. I can't believe I can't remember where he transferred in from, their backup running back, but Jonathan Smith, his DNA as a coach is to play Big Ten football, even at Oregon State, which is why Oregon State caused a lot of Pac-12 teams issues when he was there, because no one else in the conference played that. So when you played up against them, it was like getting used to something that you wasn't seeing weekly, or your team was built for. So he's going to want to run the ball. He's going to want to be physical. He's going to do the 12 man, because everything they do is based off play action, right? It's rolling Aiden Childs out. They love to roll him to the right. 9 out of 10 times, if they're doing a play action, he's bootlegging it right. And even if he's play action to the strong side, and you got your strong side on the right, he's still, the play is designed to get him rolling to his right. Like I said, he loves to throw the corner routes. He loves to throw the out routes. He has a strong arm. If he get 1-on-1 on the outside, he'll definitely take a shot, but it'll be more on the rope. He seems to tend to be more comfortable with throwing those routes, but of course they're safer. They're safer than going across the middle. And he's definitely developed as a quarterback from the first 2 years, from the year at Oregon State when he was sharing it with DJU, and even last year. I think they're going to come out and make us prove it, right? That we can stop the run, and we can do it for 4 quarters. We can get up there and be physical with them. And because here's the thing, they don't want to get out there and get into, because we're about to get on their defense. Trust me, they don't want to get out there and get into a shootout. No, they don't want to do that. Their goal is going to be, let's get this to the 4th quarter and keep it close and see what happens. They don't want to get in the shootout with the struggles of and that's a good segment. So let's go ahead and go to second down. And second down is you're scouting on Purdue defense and how you will attack them as a USC offense. And so what are you seeing on film from them? What do they like to do? What are tendencies, and how would you attack them if you're Riley, Miles, if you was Lane, because you love Lane?
Right. Well, on defense, I noticed that they don't give up much on the ground. And again, it could be contributed to, the level, the opponents that they have faced. I know Boston College was their toughest match, but even then, I think in that contest, they only gave up maybe 3.3 or 3.4 yards on the ground. But on the season, they're only giving up 2.7 yards per rush on the ground. You want to attack them through the air. So this may be a game where Riley is able to go back to the old Riley and throw the ball around. It really depends on the defensive set. Also, I saw them run a lot of 4-3. I don't know if you saw the same thing, but one thing he didn't want is, like I said earlier, he doesn't want to take this to the track, meaning that you don't want all of USC speed out there on the field. So you definitely want to attack them through the air. Against Boston College, they gave up 309 yards in the air. They gave up over 200 some yards passing against the Youngstown State. So if I'm Riley, I'm looking to attack them in the air.
Yep. And so I did see that they like to run a lot of 3 linebackers. Like I said, they didn't get to run it as much as they wanted to the first 3 games. They were playing a lot of 4-2-5. because they couldn't leave those three linebackers out there because the other team were running, spread and they couldn't cover and hold up. But they do want to play traditional Big Ten football. They want it in the phone booth. They want that physical, right? And so when they were going with the 4-3, they had a lot of success stopping the run. But a lot of those teams still had success. It's one of them things where men lie, women lie, numbers never lie, but they can be misleading. The teams were having success on the ground, but had to go away from it due to the score and just not being able to have, the talent to keep up with them. What I do know about this team and what the defense that they played against these other spreads, we're going to see what we've seen against Purdue. They play a lot of 3-man front drop 8 coverage, right?
Okay.
On the back end, on the back end, they'll switch from a cover 2 and 3 and switch up the cover, but they hardly ever rush more than 4, and the reason why is because they, like you said, those DBs are struggling. They cannot man up. Right. If they man up, it's going to be a house call. Their defensive backs are really struggling this year, so they play a lot of zone, but they are definitely expect to see a lot of 3-man rush and dropping 8 in coverage, just like we've seen with Purdue. They'll bring up 5 like they're going to bring 5, but they're going to drop them. I mean, that was the consensus in all 3 games what they were doing. And the reason why they can't play man on the back end is not just that the defensive backs are struggling, but they have a lack of pass rush. And it's been the last 2 seasons have been like that. They don't have no guy up there who is just going to be a difference maker in the pass rush. Jaden Miles' jersey should be clean Saturday, right? Our offensive line should be able to contain their defensive line. They don't have a pass rush. Talking to Michigan State fans, one of my buddies, that's one of their biggest gripes is that, the lack of pressure. It's not even and as you watch the film, you can see it. And a lot of that too is because they don't trust on the back end. So a lot of time they're just rushing 3. You know what I mean? Right. But when we do that, we have guys that still have the ability to be able to, have a 3-man lineup that can beat 5 and still get some pressure there. So expect to see a lot of 4-2-5, right? And them dropping 8 men in coverage. The issue with it is, and it's very strange, right? Their linebackers, while good in the run game, their linebackers struggle to contain wide receivers. Tight ends and running backs out the backfield.
Okay.
In all 3 games, that was a consistent that their linebackers struggle to cover tight ends and running backs out the backfield. And here's the kicker: they're not in man coverage, right? They're playing zone. But because they're either not getting enough depth, and as the running back comes out the backfield, they just don't have the speed to keep up. And what's crazy about that is even with their DBs, right, they struggle to guard a lot of crossing routes. And that's weird because they're not playing man. Crossing routes are a man beater. And they're playing zone, but they have a lot of breakdowns, like how we seen early on the back end and with their linebackers. They have a lot of breakdowns with coverage, right? If you send someone across their face, they're going out what they're supposed to do, following that person and leaving somebody else wide open in that flat. And so they're having a lot of breakdowns. If I'm USC, when they're dropping 8 and doing 3, same thing last week. You have to run the ball, run them out of it, right? Make them bring another defender up, make them bring another rush up. I'm going 12 personnel with them, right? Because that 12 personnel actually make them take one of those nickels out, make them go to a linebacker when you're running the ball like that. So go 12-man personnel, run the ball on them, right? And when they bring those linebackers in and stop the run and you want to pass it, let the tight end and running backs get them matched up on their linebackers, and you're going to win every time. Run a lot of crossing routes because on the back end and deep crossers, on the back end, you'll see time and time again how Boston College and even the team they played last week, Youngstown, look how many times they got beat on beat crossers and then just crossers behind the linebackers because there was no eye discipline, right? Somebody flashed in front of them and they forgot about the whole area, you know what I'm saying, the flat or the curl flat that they were supposed to have, and they chased off and left somebody on. So layered routes, what I mean by layered routes, we do it a lot, right? We'll send somebody deep in Jacoby Lane and just go and do a 10-yard comeback, right? Test their eye discipline, right? Run somebody deep, and then have somebody run a deep post from the slot on the opposite side, crossing that face of that safety, and make him make a choice and see how disciplined he is and how disciplined they done got in the last 2 weeks. So I'm running a lot 12 man. I think Lake McCree is going to have a big game for the simple fact that area in between the linebackers and the safety is ripe for the picking from what I've seen the last 3 weeks with them. Linebackers not being fast enough to get a lot of depth. If they take a false step, they out. The running backs out their backfield. Do you remember game 1 when our running back from New Mexico,
Eli Sanders.
Yeah, when Eli Sanders took that screenplay.
Right.
Expect like something like that to happen again. Those are gonna be wide open. The linebackers they're better in the run, but when you come to pass defense, it's that whole back end that's struggling. And so a lot of people are going to be like, why is Riley not running the ball? We need to run the ball, right? When they're alignment with that 3-man front and that pressure. But I expect this game, we might see a lot of air now because that's their weakness.
Right. Go at them through the air.
Yeah. And when we do run the ball, because their linebackers don't have that great side-to-side speed to get to the sidelines and covering like that, I would like to see a lot of, the gap zone schemes, right? We're going to want to man up and try to test that middle, but with Waymon and Sanders and King Miller and their speed, test that edge, stretch them out, make them run side to side, and touch their depth. Like the speed, our team speed is definitely more than theirs. So that's how attack them. They're struggling at defensive line. They can't. The pass rush is non-existent. Linebackers, they're better in the run game, but they struggle to guard to cover tight ends and running backs out the backfield, even while playing zone. And on the back end, they just have a lot of breakdowns because of lack of eye discipline. And you show them a piece of you dangle a piece of candy in front of them, they're gonna take it, and somebody else is running right behind them in their zone and where they're at. Okay. All right. Going on to third down.
Third down is yours.
All right. So third down, expectation to what we expect to see. Big 10 after dark. 10 o'clock kickoff.
Does that remind you of Pac-12 after dark?
Yeah.
Right.
The spread is 17.5. So the question is, what do you expect to see to happen? Will USC cover the spread, right? And when we say will USC cover the spread, we both in agreement that we think USC is going to win this game. So what I expect to see is a lot of what we talked about. I expect defensively, our number one goal will be to where any defense goal should be is to take away the strength of the other team, and it starts with them running the ball. So I think we're gonna do that. Going to contain Childs, and I know a lot of fans is probably just gonna feel like a punch in the gut, right? Mm-hmm. We're going to be in zone, and you're going to see the corners play off because you're gonna have to, right? Because not that they're running the RPO this year, but I mean this week. But when you're playing a quarterback is mobile and that can take off running, you can't have your back to the quarterback, right? So if you're playing press conference and you're playing press coverage and you're in man, right, and the receiver take off on the go route, your back is to the quarterback. So we're going to have to play zone. You are going to see the corner sitting off again so that they can see and keep everything in front of them and keep their eyes on the QB if he takes off. Last thing you want to do with a mobile quarterback like that is to play man, because once he get past the line, everybody back turn. I mean, a 5-yard gain turns into a 50. You know what I mean? So I expect us to switch up the looks though in the zone. expect to see some more of that robber look, where we might even be doing like a 2-man under, or expect to see Gentry spying. You know what I mean? Aiden Childs, and like, hey, that's your guy. Don't rush. Your job is to sit in the middle here, take one step up. Wherever he go, he go. He take off. You go get him. I expect to see Lake McCree. I think the tight ends is going to have a big game in the pass game because of the inability of the linebackers, right, to cover in space and to do those things. So I expect Lake McCree to have a big game. Do we cover 17.5? I think we cover. I believe we cover. And the reason why is because, one, it's 11 p.m. Eastern kickoff for them.
Right. That's a late start.
That's a late start. Think about it. For them, that's an hour away from Sunday.
Right.
And the game would just be kicking off, right? And that jet lag is for real. The injuries on their team, I know we're not definite yet, but even if Nick Marsh play, even if the great running back play, right?
Frazier.
Well, we know their starting offensive lineman is out. Even if they play, how healthy can you be if you was in a boot just 6 days ago, right? And how much can you give your team? So with just the injuries that they're facing, the time difference, us being at home, us having the better team, right? The more talented team. I do think we cover. I think this is a game kind of like the Rutgers late night game last year.
Right.
Where in the first half, I mean, we got up, but we just didn't pull away. We pulled away at the end. Man, that time zone matters. So I do think we covered. I think this is a game that's like a 40, like a 42-17 game.
42 game. Okay, well, I'll keep this segment quick. Third down. I expect for us to get after the quarterback. Plain and simple. Over the last 3 games, Michigan State has given up 8 sacks. Now, again, I don't know whether or not this was attributed to the quarterback, Aiden Childs, taking off running, just getting hit behind the line, or whether or not there's coming blindside. But, USC right now is leading the nation in sacks. So I don't expect anything different from a defensive perspective. Now, from an offensive perspective, hey, look, if they've been giving up a bunch of yards through the air, why not us? Don't leave us out of the party. So I expect for Riley to go back to, as I stated in the segment earlier, I expect for Riley to go back to what he loves best, airing out the ball. I expect for Makai Lemon to have a big game. But also, you mentioned him earlier, one of our X factors and one of the surprises on the season, Lake McCree. He's been looking rejuvenated, like he's been given, a second chance at making himself an All-American. And I really expect for him to be an All-American this season. I think right now he's one of the top leading tight ends in the conference, in the Big Ten conference. So I expect for Lake McCree to have a big game. I expect for Makai Lemon to get those DBs tired. And I expect for on the defense, I expect for Lynn to design up some plays to get after that quarterback and add to our sack leading totals.
Yeah, I agree with you on that because, like I said, they're one of their better starting offensive linemen is out for the year, right. And they were already an offensive line that struggled to protect. Like I said earlier, they gave up 4 sacks in one game, and it wasn't nothing exotic. It wasn't that the quarterback was trying to run. It was just they were getting beat, and also the quarterback. If you can confuse him, sometimes he don't even count for that edge for someone coming, right? Like as a quarterback, you got to recognize it too and check. So that's what I said. Attack that offensive line with some stunts. But when you do that, you have to make sure that someone is protecting those edges on the outside so he can't get away. Now he will take off with the middle as well, but that's where rush lane. But you've seen our big guys in the middle, it don't be nowhere for you to go. The pocket collapse.
Right.
We just got to make sure, and when we get to him, you got to bring him down because like I said, he's a fixer, right? When things like that happen, he should have been sacked more times on the year, but because his athleticism, he's escaped some tackles, you know what I'm saying? Okay. Some sacks. So he should have giving up more sacks. Okay. All right. let's go on. All right, it's fourth down. You guys already know this is 4th and 9 to victory. We don't punt.
We don't punt.
We're going for it. We we don't never punt. We don't believe in punting. All right. So 4th down for the day. All right. Offense and defense. Who do your impact player is going to be for the game? USC.
Well, you got 4th down. You got
I got first.
4th down. Right.
All right. All right. You want me to take both of them or do one?
Yeah, no, take both. Take both.
All right. Offensively, Lake McCree. For all the reasons I already stated that we're gonna be they want to do like Purdue did against us, right? Run a 3-man, drop everybody back. But the plan is gonna run the ball, make them go to that 3 linebacker set. And when those linebackers in, they struggle in zone, they struggle in man to cover the tight end and running backs out the backfield. Even in that zone, right? Even if they are in that a 4-2-5 and they're rushing 3 and dropping everybody the 8 back in coverage, the spot that's open is from their first 3 games is behind the linebackers in front of the safeties. And the reason why is the linebackers' inability to get their speed, not to get enough depth. You throw some eye candy in front of their face, something crossing, they go with it. Right. Do you remember the 4th down play against Purdue that we had with Lake McCree? That's gonna be open all game. That's gonna be open all game. You remember that seam route mile we threw to Lake McCree? That's that right there between the linebacker and safety. That's gonna be open. Their linebackers do not get the proper depth. So I expect Lake McCree to have a big game. On defense, I'm gonna say Eric Gentry because, like I said, I believe Eric Gentry has to be the spy, right? Mm-hmm. He's gonna have to be that person that account for Aiden Childs. If he's not on a design blitz or something like that, if we're in a 3rd and 10s, 3rd and 12, 3rd and 15s, you're gonna have 3rd and 5, 6. You're gonna have to put a spy on because the rush is gonna cause their offensive line some problem. You got to have a spy on this guy so that he can escape, break containment, and be that difference maker as he's been all year. That fixer for them. When the play breaks down, he go gets it. What about you? Who are your impact player, offense and defense?
My impact player on the offensive line, on the offensive side of the ball, no other than our leader, Jade Maava. Again, I said that earlier that Boston College had given up 309 yards passing. Michigan State gave up 309 yards passing in Boston College. I expect for Riley to come out and continue on with it. So if it's not broke, don't fix it. So if they've already shown a weakness, why not continue to attack that weakness that they have? So I look for Jaden Maava to have a big game, probably throw for 400 yards, couple touchdowns, maybe 2 or 3 through the air and 1 on the ground. Defensively, I look for Christian Pierce to have a big game. You said leaving a spy on their quarterback, Aiden Childs. Eric Gentry is probably going to be tasked with that. I look for Christian Pierce to come off that edge and really apply the pressure. Like I said, Michigan State has given up 8 sacks so far in the season. Again, we're leading the nation in sacks. Now, their offensive line, they got some big boys, but what they don't have is a lot of speed off their edge. I don't know whether or not they're going to run a 12 personnel. More than likely, with one of the leading receivers out, they're going to look to utilize those tight ends, freeing up that edge, freeing up that safety blitz off the edge. So I look for Christian Pierce to have a big game as well.
Yeah, and it kind of, well, that's the offense that they just like to run, right? Mm-hmm. That 12-man personnel, 2-sided, one play, Big Ten football. But another thing that helps them with that is they're trying to protect Aiden Childs as well. Last year the offensive line was very, very bad. This year they struggled against some lesser opponents protecting. So yeah, they're definitely going to do that. And last thing before we get out of here, just so everyone know, we'll put this in perspective. USC, we're both 3-0. Both teams are looking for respect, right? Both fan bases are still trying to figure out, is these teams for real? What's the ceiling, right? Is it fool's gold? Can we compete within the Big Ten? As far as USC, we know we beat Missouri State, Georgia Southern, Purdue. Michigan State has beat Western Michigan, right? 23-6. They beat Boston College in the shootout in overtime, 42-40. And then they play Youngstown State, 41-24. They won that game. And the spread is 17 and a half. Last thing we discuss, and we're going to get out of here. Is this game is Michigan State a step up from Purdue, or is this the same level?
I look at Michigan State to be a step up above Purdue. You have to remember, Purdue only winning one or two games last season, and they had a lot of turnover. Had a new coach staff to come in. I think Jonathan Smith is definitely a better coach at this level than Purdue's coach. Yeah, I think he's a better coach at this level than Purdue's coach. I think they have a better staff, but most importantly, I think they have better athletes. So I would say so. Now, as far as the quarterback play may be kind of even, but as far as the weapons, I think Michigan State has more had more at their disposal. I think they will. Yeah, I think they will use. I do think they will utilize the tight ends more.
So to me, it is a step up, but not a big step up. As far as quarterback, Michigan State, Aiden Childs is going to be the best quarterback we've faced so far this year, right? He's going to be the most mobile, the better passer than any quarterback we've played thus far. As far as the wide receivers, before Nick Marsh went down, I think Purdue had the better wide receivers, right? Nick Marsh is the best wide receiver off any team, but once you get past Nick Marsh, Purdue with Michael Jackson, with Nitro Tuggle, with their leading receiver, I forget his name, number 6. So as far as the depth wise at wide receiver, I would give that to Purdue, but with all the injuries that Michigan State got coming with their running back and their corners,
you have to remember now, Michigan State has another receiver, B. Tullis. We just didn't mention him. And we may cover him again pregame on Saturday, but Michigan State has a receiver in B. Tullis who has 18, not B. Tullis, I'm sorry. What's his name?
Lonte Brown and Omar Kelly.
Kelly, yeah. Right. 15 receptions for 184 yards. So
but he's not the depth is not there. He's their second wide receiver. He definitely gives you punt return and all that. But when it comes to Michael Jackson, Nitro Tuggle, the other guy Purdue has, as far as the depth in wide receivers, Purdue wins on that. Nick Marshall's a stud. Purdue ain't got nothing that can handle him. But when it comes to the depth on there, but Omarion Kelly and Alonte Brown for Michigan State, they're good receivers. They're fast. You'll see both of them at kickoff return and punt return. That's something we definitely need to make sure that we don't give up anything on those. In the first 3 games, they haven't scored a touchdown on a return, but if you look at the return yards, at least once a game, one of those guys has broke for 60, 70 yards on the return.
Okay.
So we have to make sure on special teams, kickoff and punt return, that we're aware of these guys and we're tackling them and we're doing that. But that is our show. That is our preview. We will be back Saturday, 9:30 Central, getting ready to go live for the game. Like I said, you guys join us. We want you to comment, want you to call in, tell us what you see in the game. We'll be going over some more things that we see from film study. We'll have injury updates for both teams. I'm definitely going to be looking to see who playing for Michigan State because, if Nick Marsh and Frazier don't play, man, Michigan State is really going to be hampered.
I heard that. I did hear that Frazier was definitely out, but it's up in the air on Marsh.
Yeah, and so the thing on Marsh, I was hearing that it was possible he had a concussion, and it was possible and a lower injury. So he's a wide receiver, so both of them, if it's a concussion, they're not going to let you play these days anyway, right? If you don't have protocol. And that's a wide receiver because he's fast and he's a big kid. He's a really good wide receiver, and we're going to have our hands full if he's out there, especially if he's healthy. So we will definitely be here Saturday at 9:30. man, I just want to appreciate everybody. We'll be going live for the game. Make sure you hit that bell notification so you know when we come on. Call in, comment, man. We're just gonna have a good time as always. Breaking down schemes, breaking down play-by-play, sharing updates. I'm gonna pass it to you, B, and then we're gonna get out of here.
Yeah, sure. Subscribe, share, bell notification.
That's it, man. As always, we appreciate everyone for sharing, and subscribing, commenting on videos. We appreciate all the support as we continue to try to get this channel to grow. So as always, have a good night and fight on.
Fight on.